All right, hello everyone. So this is for the 14.14 update. So right after I just released my video, I realized someone mentioned in the comment I didn't even have all the champions in the other one. I lazy, I guess. I don't know. And then so of course they did an update that nerfed and buffed champions. So we're gonna go over a new arena list. We're gonna try to speed run this real quick because there are so many champions. All right, so Ashran, we're going A tier. Does lots of damage, does percent health damage. Sorry, Aatrox still B tier. Every time I've seen him played, just garbage. After Aryan Soul's nerfs, he's going to go into A tier instead of S tier. S tier is more like can carry the game kind of by themselves. D tier is like they have to have an S tier to help them and or an A tier. And they're still probably going to lose, right? So just so you know the ranking here. Akali, she can do decent damage. B tier. Aphelios, C tier. He is just. I would even put him in D tier. He really does. The way he has to rely on his guns just makes him very mediocre at best. I don't find him very good in arena because of how much he has to rely on his guns. You don't ever see him because he gets deleted. Amumu can do really good. He can stun lock the crap out of the opponents and does decent damage, but he kind of relies on his allies to help him out in the late game. So Alistar, he can be really good. He can do decent damage and knock people out of the arena, especially as the arena gets smaller. So I'm going to put Alistar into the B tier. Ashe, she's going to roll over here into the B tier. Uh, Ashe does decent damage but is easily deleted. Azir, I'm going to put him probably into the C tier. There's just too many maps. It's too easy to run away from his clones. He can do really good if you play him really well, but most people I see play him, they're just so bad at him. Aurora, I'm also going to slap her into probably the C tier. I don't know if people just haven't figured out a good way to play her yet or what, but Aurora is struggling. I mean, she is just super squishy. She doesn't do a lot of damage, but and then now she received another nerf. So her ability to play an arena is just mediocre at best. I haven't seen a good Aurora player yet, and most of them get deleted. You really do need like a strong S or A carry with her. Annie, we're going to slap her into the B tier. Does good burst damage. Anivia, same thing, good burst damage. And her egg allows her to just. I would even slap Anivia into the A tier. Anivia is actually pretty good. She does lots of damage. And her egg, I've seen her egg clutch up more times than I can count. Ari, gonna slap her into the B tier with these other squishy mages. Bard, gonna put him down here in the C tier. He just doesn't, I mean, he does decently burst damage, but overall, his ability in most of the arenas, and if you get certain maps, he just doesn't even matter. Belveth, we're actually gonna slap her in the B tier. If it wasn't for her having to be in people's face, she'd be amazing. So if you can get like the range thing on her, I don't know if it's good or not. I haven't gotten it, but I think without specific augments, she just isn't the greatest. Blitzcrank, C tier. Despite the fact that he can stun lock someone, he just doesn't do enough damage to really be relevant. He can get melted in between. And in most case scenarios, that's what I see. Brand, I'm going to put him into the A tier. He did receive some nerfs, so he feels a little more balanced. He doesn't feel as broken. Braum, C tier, with these other kind of mediocre-ish. Nah, Braum needs someone to carry him, right? Yeah, so D tier sounds a little more accurate. Briar, we're gonna slap her up here in the A tier, probably. I don't know. Briar's really strong, but her, I just haven't seen too many of them, and it's too easy to mess up her taunt. So I'm gonna slap her in the A ability. B tier with Caitlyn, she is really decent, but again, gets jumped on, gets insta killed. Yeah, her damage relies on her Q. She's pretty mediocre in arena since her Q isn't based off of attack speed or anything like that. It's based off of having to wait for that extra ability. She needs other people to carry her. You rarely see her in arena for a reason. Cassiopeia just recently got some buffs. I think it was buffs. And so I want to put her in probably the B tier still. I still think she's decent, but she's kind of squishy. Cho'Gath, S tier. He needs something done with him for arena. He feels so strong. It's crazy. Corki, I'm gonna slap him with these other ADCs. He's actually a lot of fun still to play. Mr. Darius, we're gonna slap him in the B tier. Or not B tier, I'm so sorry. We'll slap him in the A tier with kind of the bruiser meta. He can do lots of damage, and he snowballs from early game to mid game. He does struggle a little bit late game though. Diana, same thing. She does really good mid and late game, but she struggles early game. But she's a really good like assassin type. And she's kind of like bruisery tanker. She has a lot of tank abilities. Dr. Mundo, straight S tier. Yeah, he can solo carry a game. He does tons of damage, and he can just tank the entire lobby. It's crazy. Draven, we're going to slap him over here in the B tier. He's just mediocre, relying on catching your axes. Unless you can get Q spam, it's just trying to catch your axes while also dealing with all the other BS in a closed-in arena. Most of the time you just get deleted. Echo, B tier, does good burst damage, can do percent health damage, but his abilities take so long, and because I think his passive can't be immediately procced over and over, you have to wait for that cooldown. I'm actually going to slap him into C tier, right? He can do good damage, and if you kite away and kite back, he can do pretty good, but the amount that he can do versus others that can do way more than him, I just don't find him higher up the chain. Elise, we're going to actually slap her in the A tier. I don't know why people don't play her. She is so good. She does tons of damage, has tons of ways to avoid damage. I don't know why I don't see her, but every time I do see her, she destroys. It's nuts. Evelyn, we're going to slap her in the C tier. She is just, I would even put her in the D tier, right? She needs another person to carry her. In most case scenarios, she just doesn't do enough damage. She just doesn't have the element of surprise in this arena mode. Israel, definitely A tier, being able to bounce around and everything. I'm borderline like putting him S tier. He does so much damage, it's bonkers. Fiddlesticks, gonna slap him in the B tier. He can do really good, but getting your ult off when there's so many people know about your ult and then interrupt your ult can be kind of meh. And not only that, but your teammates 1v2ing while you're trying to get the ult off, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Fiona, whatever her name is. So B tier. She does good percent health damage, but unless you're really good about bouncing around people, and most of the time you're getting CC'd all the time, and if you miss your W, you're just extra screwed. Fizz, same thing, B tiered. Once he uses Z, uses his ult, he's just kind of stands there, and a lot of times you can't run away in arena because people are just much faster than you and can catch up. Galio, I have no idea why more people don't play this guy. He is so broken. He does tons of damage, very tanky. Yeah. He needs something for arena. I don't know what it is, but he needs something. I I can't. Every time I play against him, as long as you shoot his barrels, he is useless. He goes up to you, he auto attacks you, and that's like all of his damage, right? And then he uses his ult. Garen, S tier. We all knew this was coming. Garen is just bonkers, especially if you go straight damage on him and then have a Yumi attached to you or anything like that. Garen can literally just one-shot you, and he takes tons of reduced damage. Gnar, I'm actually going to put Gnar into A tier. He does tons of percent health damage, and he does lots of damage. If you can get like a supporty type champion with you, he does even better. But like if you get 2A champions with a Gnar, he can do really good. Gragas is going to end up in A tier. He does really good damage, really good CC. Graves, we're going to slap him down here into the B tier. He feels really clunky in arena. He can do really good if you're good with him, but he needs his resets, and if you don't do somewhat decent early game, then your late game's going to suck, and you need real specific augments on him. Gwen, we're actually going to slap her up into the S tier. You can play Gwen and play almost any style, and her play style is just super fun. I don't know why more people don't play her, in my opinion. Hikarum up here into the A tier, even possibly the S tier. Yeah, I'm actually going to slap him in the A tier or S tier. He can just straight up delete almost anybody. If they're squishier, he just presses R and then they're just gone. Heimendinger, gonna put him up here into the I'm gonna say A tier, probably with these other mages. He can do really good, but if people play against your turrets, but if you get that one that increases the size of them and all that, he can do really good. Heimerdinger is a lot of fun. Huey, I've seen one person do really good on Huey, and I was pretty impressed with him. I'm gonna put Huey up here, but he's a very skeptical A. His kit takes a lot more practice than any other champion probably in this game. His kit, because he has so many abilities in his kit, it's bonkers. And you're so squishy. So if you don't know how to kite and you don't know how to play mages very well, I would stay away from him. But he can be really fun once you learn him. Alawi, we're going to put her in the A tier. She does really good, but one of her biggest problems is you kind of have to wait for the circle to get smaller. Don't chase people around, just fish for ease. Uh, Alawi kind of relies a little bit more on having like a duo teammate, but you can really make it work, especially Alawi Heimerdinger. This combo is actually really strong. You should give that a try. Aurelia, straight up here into the A tier, does decent damage and bounces around pretty good. Ivern needs someone else to carry with him. Most of the time he is trash by himself. Jaina needs someone to carry with her. She does really good. She has a lot of CC, but she can't solo carry a game. J4, I have no idea why more people don't play this guy. I go straight damage on him, lethality build. You can insta-kill people. It's hilarious. Press R, E into a Q, R, boom, dead. So J4, A tier. Jax, S tier. Don't know why more people don't play him. Probably because he's permabanned. But Jax can just jump on you, delete you, and because of his W, he's just invulnerable forever. Jace, this guy sucks in Arena. Sorry, I don't personally think he's that great in Arena. Jhin, we've got gonna slap him in B tier with the other ADCs. He can do really good, and he can make it into 4th tier, but once you start getting into the later tiers at 4K past, these people just insta delete ADCs. They don't even look at you. Anything that's like bruisery, tanker, or mage, they look your way and you fucking die. That's just how it be. Same thing with Jinx. Same thing with this Chikorita. Can't currently remember her name. Same thing with Callista. Callista is actually a lot of fun in this mode if you don't have people that have point and click CC. Karma, I'm going to slap her into the A tier. She can do decent damage, and she can spam her shield, or she can spam damage, whichever one she needs in the moment. Does good damage, tanky, and is very mobile, you know. Karthus, he's going to go into this B tier with all the other mage types. He can do good damage, but casting your ult kind of leaves your teammate vulnerable, and it's easy to interrupt your ult. And not only that, but if you're dead, you're really not. Your passive doesn't make it so that it cancels out the ability to win at the end, like the Anivia egg. You know what I'm saying? So he can do good, but I don't really personally think he's that great. Khazadin, a lot of people have disagreed with me on this, but I fought some more Khazadins. They are trash. I just don't see Khazadins very good. I've seen one do decent damage, but then he fell off late game. Their late game is just mediocre for some reason. So I'm putting him in the C tier. Katarina, A tier. Can do really good. The only bad thing about Katarina is the fact that she can get her ult interrupted really easily. So if you can somewhat kind of position yourself to where you can get your ult off through the other side of a wall or something, then it kind of prevents you from taking that damage or getting interrupted when you're using your ult, right? Kale, we're going to slap her in the A tier. Kale does really good. I don't know why more people don't play her, to be honest. She kind of sucks on that early game, but once you hit that mid to late game, especially late game, she will just literally go boom, 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 dead. It's hilarious. Kayn, so this one with this tier list, I don't have the red and blue Kayn, so just specifically Kayn. If I was to rate just Kayn overall, I would rate him as probably a B tier, but red Kayn, I would rate him probably A or S tier. Blue tier, I would rate it B tier. So, but regular Kayn form, probably like B or C tier, right? It's just really not that great. Kennen can actually go up here into A tier. He does pretty good damage, has good stuns. Uh, he is able to AoE stun, which is really nice. Nah, it doesn't feel right putting him up there. He can AoE stun, but one of his biggest problems is he's too squishy. He has to be up in their face, and if you're not kiting very well, and most of the time they can just jump on top of you, you just get deleted. Just doesn't feel right putting him up there. Kha'Zix needs someone else to carry him. Sorry, he's just trash. Every time I've seen a Kha'Zix in this, you just stand next to your teammate, they're almost useless. There's not enough for Kha'Zix unless they get real specific augments. I just personally think he's kind of garbage in arena. Needs like some form of buff if he stays in arena or if they continue doing some arena. Kindred, I'm going to put Kindred up here in the A tier. Does percent health damage, has the ult. It's really the ult that makes the difference with Kindred and the percent health damage that makes the difference because Kindred can outplay people if they outplay with their ult, right? Kled, going straight up to the S tier. Good damage, good catch up, good everything, and percent health damage. Kog'Maw, just same problem, squishy, right? He can do good damage. If you get real specific augments, you can do good damage, but it doesn't matter when you just get insta-killed. Cassante, he's going to go up here in the A tier. He's actually really good. Don't know why I don't see him more often. In fact, I haven't seen him in probably like 15, 20 games now. He's just not a very played character, which is fine because he's kind of annoying to play against. LeBlanc, B tier. Can do really good, but once that circle starts closing in, you're kind of useless. Lee Sin does really good damage, but I'm going to put him in B tier because once he jumps on top of his enemy, he kind of has the same problem with Fiora. You know, you're just kind of stuck there inside of their face, and there's not a whole lot you can do once you're there. You can ult him away, but then you just kind of die, especially to these more bruisey tanker types. Leona, she did just recently get like a nerf slash buff, kind of, but I think Leona is more of like a B tier. She can actually carry by herself, so I wouldn't consider her down here with the D tier. I've seen a lot of Leonas do really well by themselves. Maybe not B tier, probably C tier. She does still somewhat rely on like these heavier classes, right? But she can do really good by herself and does decent damage. Lilia, going straight up here to the A tier. If you miss your pound, then you are not going to have a good time with her. But if you're landing her pounds and you're landing her sleeps, she can be quite a bit of fun. Lissandra, with her ult being able to instantly stun someone, but her damage is garbage. I mean, I would even put her down here. Her ult being able to stun someone is great, but her damage is just mediocre at best. I don't know what it is. So for some reason, she's like Aurora. She can do okay, but the burst is okay, but after the burst is over, and if they survive your burst, you're probably going to die if you can't escape them. Lucian, same thing, B tier with the other ADCs, can do really good, does really good damage, gets deleted. Lulu, this champion needs someone to carry her. You go, even if you have someone that is super hard carrying, and you go Lulu, you go straight support, yeah, you're probably picking a losing character for your teammate. Any of these characters down here, you're probably picking a character to immediately lose with your teammates, right? Lux, definitely up here in the S tier, does lots of damage. Her CC, her range is what really does it for her, and the fact that her abilities do so much damage. Yeah, I'm going to put Lux up there. She can get deleted. Oh, man, S tier doesn't sound right. Put her down in the A tier, right? So I think she's one of the best mages. She does really, really good. Malphite, same thing. He's really good. Presses R, he can immediately delete almost any of these people down below. I think Malphite's really good A tier. Malazar, he is going to slide into the B tier. Can do really good. Can CC, does the silence. But he has the kind of the same problem where his abilities feel really clunky. The same problem with all these other mages, right? Can't remember his name currently. Like Malphite. Nope, that ain't it. Yeah, that guy. So he can do really good. I'm gonna put him in the B tier though. He's just not that great. He doesn't do enough burst damage. Doesn't do it. Yeah, I'm actually gonna slap him down here. He can do good damage if he gets the like bread and jam and stuff like that, of course any character can, right? But one of his biggest problems is the ability to spam and actually continuously do damage is his problem. He can do good, somewhat decent quick damage, but he doesn't have that ability to just continuously do damage unless he gets specific augments. Master Yi up here in the A tier. He's almost a permaban. It's very rare for me not to see him not banned. So it's kind of funny. She relies on other champions. She's garbage. Milia, or whatever her name is. Misfortune, same problem. B tier, squishy. Mordekaiser, S tier. I don't know why. This is like a perma ban for people. He almost always gets banned. It's kind of crazy. Morgana, we're going to slap her in the A tier. Or, I'm sorry. We're going to slap her in the B tier. If you play Morgana Lux together, super fun. Super overpowered. Your chances of winning a game goes up tremendously if you play Lux and Morgana. But Morgana by herself doesn't feel that great. Her CC is great, but she feels way clunkier than Lux for some reason. I'm really debating on moving her. Yeah, I'm going to put her in A tier with Lux. It just makes more sense. This guy, garbage. I'm actually going to slap him into the C tier. Every time I've played with this guy, it's been almost an immediate loss. I've seen one or two of them do decent damage, and they've kind of pushed up to like rank 4. But for the most part, this champion is like really bad. I'm actually debating on putting him into D tier, right? So Nami can do really good even by herself. She does good damage, but again, problem, squishy. Nasus is going straight up to the A tier. Can do really good, but one of his biggest problems is he can get caught kind of chasing around champions. If you're playing an Nasus, press R and Q whatever's right in front of your face, and one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to have to run away to heal, or you're going to kill something. I don't know. The way some people play Nasus, it drives me a little bonkers. But, like, if you see someone run on the other side of the map, just start hitting whatever's right in front of you. Don't chase someone, you silly goose. Nautilus. We're going to slap him over here into the B tier. C tier. He can do decent damage. He's more like a Leona. Does decent damage. Does lots of AoE stunning and all that, but he just really doesn't pump out enough damage. They get anti-armor and you're useless. Nico, I'm going to slap her in the B tier with these other kind of weird mage types. She can do okay, but she's kind of mediocre. She just doesn't pump out the damage like Lux and Morgana does. Nidalee, I'm going to slap her in the B tier. She can do really good, but unless you're like really good at micromanaging the way you play her, most times she's meh. Gosh, what is your name? Malau or whatever. I don't remember her name, but she can actually be pretty good, but she has the same problem with getting deleted. Her abilities are really up to date and good, but she just kind of gets deleted. I've tried playing her once or twice, and every time I play her, I'm just never impressed. And every time I play against one, I'm never that threatened, if that makes any sense. So I have seen a few arena gods. For some reason, I've gotten a few wins, and it still hasn't upgraded my emblem. I don't know what's going on in that. So if someone can let me know down in the comments, that'd be great. Nocturne, we're going to slap him in the A tier. He does decent damage. He kind of has the same Actually, no. Yeah, just down here in the B tier, he has kind of the same problem where he rushes in, and if you go in real quick without your teammate, then you end up just dying. And he doesn't do quick enough damage by himself, where two people will just delete you because he's too squishy. So Nunu, B tier, he can do really good damage, but you build an armor and you can just kind of shred him. Actually, yeah, we're going to slap him down in the C tier, right? Olaf, A tier, immediately. He just avoids almost any CC, any interrupts, even borderline S tier, honestly. He can just immediately delete whatever's in front of him. But one of his biggest problems is once he doesn't have his ult, he is useless. I mean, literally, once you see him use his ult, just fucking run away from him. And then he's like, what do I do now? Yeah, no, that's about it for him. Orianna, I just don't find her that good in this mode. She's just not that great. I think she can do really good, but her damage output isn't that great unless you get that one that allows you to spam your Q. But even then, it just feels clunky. You feel like more like a support than anything. Ornn. Ornn is same problem. He can do decent damage, but his abilities feel really clunky in arena. The fact that you have to wait for your passive damage just feels meh. Kind of the same problem as Echo, right? So Pantheon, straight S tier. This guy needs something done with him. I mean, you don't even have to fricking try on him. You hit the target dummy and you'll see what I'm talking about. You literally go WQ and then E, and you're just like, the target's dead. It doesn't even make any sense. Poppy, we're gonna go up here into A tier. Lots of walls to bounce off of. She does decent damage, and she can get some augments. Go lethality on her. Go lethality on her. Oh my god, it's so much fun. It's like a J4. It's almost like a J4 build, right? She's super tanky for no reason, can go really fast. Her ult can push away one of the opponents, so it's a 2v1 scenario. And then you just smash someone against the wall and you literally delete them. It's hilarious. This guy, Mr. Yeah, I don't even want to say your name. I hate this guy, but he's going up into S tier. I was totally wrong about him. Wherever I put him last time, A tier. Yeah, he's probably one of the most annoying champions. He gets constantly banned. It's hilarious. Keep banning him. I hate him. Quiana, whatever her name is. She's going C tier. She feels super clunky. Quinn going into the B tier with all the other ADCs. She feels meh. Rakan is going into the C tier. He can actually do pretty decent damage by himself, but he's like a Leona, right? He can do lots of damage, but he heavily relies on the ability of his other teammates in order to really get the match going. Rammus, S tier. Rammus just, he literally counters like any of these AD champions. He does tons of damage, and if the circle gets closed in, he literally just wins. It's hilarious. Rek'Sai going down here into the B tier does bursty damage, can get on top of him like Nocturne, but he's squishy. Or she's squishy, sorry. She's squishy. Rel, yeah, you're going down here. Has to have somebody carry her with. This champion does no freaking damage for some reason. Even if you hit your ult really well, they just don't do damage. I don't know what nerfs they did to her in the past, but she is garbage in this, at least from what I've seen. Rek'Sai, gonna slap him in the B tier. He's a little squishy for a bruiser. He can do pretty decent, but for the most part, he's a little squishy. Rengar going over here in the B tier. Does really good with Ivern. If you're playing with an Ivern that knows what they're doing, you can do really well with these two. I've seen those two get pretty close to winning first place, but overall, Rengar, sorry, just not that great of a champion in this. Ivern, not that great of a champion in this. Riven is going into the A tier, does lots of damage. Not everybody knows her combos on her, but I noticed that it doesn't really matter because she can just attack and kill stuff without even trying, as long as they mash their head against the keyboard. I wonder how badly their face hurts when they're done playing that character. Alright, we've got, oh geez, I can't remember his name right now either. Going B tier, same problem, squishy, does good damage, but if they get a hold of you before you can line up a good ult or anything like that, yeah, and or if they catch you while you're red hot, you're just extra screwed. Rise, B tier. He can do really good damage, but the reliability of having to land your Qs and make it to late game, his early game sucks. His mid game sucks. But if you can make it somehow to late game and get good augments on him, you can do pretty good with him. Samira, she's going to be the probably only ADC other than Vayne I slap into the A tier. She can do really good damage, and her W literally counters almost everything. But if you don't play her with someone that's going to engage, like the other player needs to engage with you. If you pick her and the other champion is like a support champion or someone that doesn't engage with you, you're not going to have fun playing her. But she can do a lot of damage and do really good in this. But that's only if you're playing well. Sejuani, she has the same problem with these other ones. Once she's done with her burst, she just kind of stands there, lollygags. Senna, she relies on other people to help her carry. Her damage just feels mediocre. I think they need to give her more passive stacks per round. That'd be nice. Seraphine, gonna slap her up into the B tier. She just feels really bad in this mode. I don't know why. I understand she's like a really good champion, but she just doesn't feel good in arena for some reason. I don't know why. Set, going up here in the S tier. He just walks up, punches you in the mouth. You enjoy it. Shaco, S tier. He literally deletes almost anyone, including tanks. It's really annoying. He's like a permaban for a lot of people. Shen, going over here with the C tier. Just kind of mediocre tank. Doesn't really do a lot of damage. Shyvana, going up here in the S tier. Does tons of damage. Tons of AoE. Tons of everything for no reason. She can just delete you with 1Q. It's super fun. You should try it. Singed, down here with the other stupid tanks. I just don't. I'm sorry. Every time I see a Singed, most times, I'm just like, oh no, they're running in that direction. I'm just not going to chase them. It's that simple. Don't chase a Singed. I mean, it's literally that simple. Sion. Sion is bonkers. Just one of the big bruiser tanks, right? He just does tons of damage, does tons of AoE, and he has his afterlife thing. I'm so glad that his afterlife doesn't count towards a win, because there's so many times that would have been so frustrating. Thank you, League, for not making that a thing. Sivir, B tier with the other ADCs, nothing special there. Skarner, ever since his little bit of nerfs, he just doesn't feel good anymore. I think he's in the C tier with all these other kind of tanks that can CC, but his damage is mediocre now. Smolder, I think I said that name right. Actually going up here with A tier, does good damage, does AoE damage, and everything else like that. I think that people should give this champion more of a try in arena. I think that overall he's a lot of fun, and if you get specific augments, you can just delete people. Sona, I don't know why people don't play her more. Go straight damage on Sona. This is gonna make me sad, because this is kind of one of my fun characters that I play when nobody's paying attention to her, right? You play Sona, you go pure damage. You grab up like Rabadon's Death Cap, and the one that makes you do damage more damage after you use an ability, right? An auto attack after an ability. I'm not good with the names, right? But she can just super carry a match. Make sure you grab up one mana item, and that's it. I mean, she just does so much damage and healing and speed, and her AoE stun, and she just is crazy. Yeah, you go there. Soraka, garbage. All right, Swain, S tier. Just does tons of healing. If people don't build anti-healing, you literally don't die. It's just not even fun. This guy, Silas, tons of damage. Can steal whatever the best ult is. Really good. Syndra, ew. She's going down here. Mediocre at best. She just, once you press R, she just feels clunky. She most of the time gets deleted. It's hilarious. Tom Kench, you're going to show up to S tier. This guy is so annoying to play against. It's not even funny. And the amount of times that he blocks the freaking flower from getting hit isn't even funny. I hope you die. All right. Yeah, she just doesn't feel good in arena. Talali, what's her name? I don't remember. But she doesn't feel good in arena. Just her hit is super clunky. I wouldn't even put her with these other mages. Most of the time, I've seen her 2 more times now, and every single time she just gets deleted. She's not even a threat. You just jump on top of her, she gets deleted. If people play her really well, I'll put her in C tier just because people will be like, put her up there. But if you play her decently, just like these other mages, okay, fine. But you really do need like a hard carry with you. Talon, he's gonna go in the B tier. He can do decent damage, kind of the same thing as Nocturne, right? Taric. Yeah, he needs someone to carry him, but he can do decent damage, so I'll put him in with these other damagey type, tanks. Teemo, straight S tier. The ability to make it so people can't hit people is so annoying. Teemo is probably one of the most annoying champions in the game, but that's okay. Thresh, he's actually not going into the D tier because he can hold his own. C tier, it's hilarious watching him go full damage and one-shot somebody, but it's not the most reliable thing, and I've rarely ever seen it win. So, Tristana, A tier or B tier, she can do lots of damage. has the push away and stuff. But if you don't build her just one specific way, then you just lose. It's kind of just like the other ADCs, right? Trundle, he's gonna go into the S tier. No idea why more people don't play him. You literally just run down your opponent, block off their path if they're trying to run away. Tryndamere is gonna go in the A tier. He's just super squishy, but he can beat down the opponents pretty well. But he just doesn't feel very good in arena if people know how to kite you very well. So Twisted Fate, he'll go in the B tier, kind of with these other magey types guys. But honestly, I'm debating on moving him down here, but I got a lot of flack for that one last time, so I'll put him up there, even though I disagree a bit. That one's for you guys. Twitch, we've got. So Twitch is going in the A tier. Believe it or not, he can actually do tons of damage, and he's able to just have that invisibility, which is really nice right off the bat. Udyr is going to go up here into the A tier. One of the biggest problems with Udyr is that he is easily kited. I feel like he's S tier. He does tons of damage, and he's super tanky. It's really obnoxious. Urgot going into the A tier. B tier, S tier, A tier, S tier, A tier, S tier. Let's see here. I think Urgot would go better in the A tier. He is easily kited, and he relies on going around his opponents. He is super fun in arena. Not a lot of people play him though. Varus just over here B tier with the rest of the ADCs. Vayne is going to go in the A tier. She is able to counter a lot of these others, but the only problem with her is she is squishy. So if you are up in their face, they are going to kill you. Veigar, we already knew he was going in S tier. Vel'Koz, yeah, he's mediocre along with these other mages, just easily squishable. And I really haven't struggled with a single Vel'Koz. You just get in there. And then, so Vayne's able to do really good damage. She can basically take out any of these kind of bruiser type champions pretty easily. So that's why I'm going to slap her into the A tier. But the problem is that she's super squishy. Any of these champions get a hold of her, she just gets deleted. Vex is actually going into the A tier. She does lots of damage. And I'm really surprised by her kit. Her kit feels weird, but like she's really good. Vi straight up here to the S tier. Vi is actually a really good champion, does tons of damage. Viego, he's going down here in the C tier. He is just mediocre at best. He struggles so bad. It's so hard. If you can get going mid to late game with him, great. But other than that, just like he relies way too much on, like, I don't know, he's squishy. He's so squishy. Victor, same problem with these other mages, just super squishy. He can do decent damage, but whatever. Yeah, no. Vlad is down here in the C tier. His kit feels super clunky. It does, you go down into your little thing and he just doesn't do any damage. Volley, we already knew he was coming up to the S tier. Man, whatever they did to that character, he's just so strong. He's like one of the strongest characters right now. Warwick going up here to the A tier. If it wasn't for his inability of catching up, I would slap him up in the S tier, but I'm going to put him in the A tier. Wukong, we're going to slap him down here in the C tier. Zaya down here in the B tier. And then, because makes more sense to put him in the B tier. He can do decent damage, and his invisibility helps out a lot. Zayrath, we're going to slap him in with the rest of the squishy mages. Xin, we're going to put in here with the B. Nah, Xin goes up here with the A tier. He has the ability to just continue jumping, and he does tons of damage. Yasuo up here with the A tier. And then, I don't remember this guy's name right this second, but S tier. Yorick is going down here in the B tier. He can actually do really good, but I've very, 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 very few people I've seen play him really well. Yuumi, I hate this fucking champion. I wish they would just ban her. A tier, Yuumi. Yeah, they need to do something about Yuumi. Zac is going up here in the A tier. I'm so sorry. Zac is going down here in the B tier. He's kind of like an Ollie star, does good damage, does good AoE damage, but he just does mediocre at best. Zed is going up here in the A tier. He does decent damage, and he can counter basically any of these champions below. One of his biggest problems is he just gets CC'd and instant loses. Zuri is going up here in the A tier. If it wasn't for her being so squishy, she would go in the S tier. She does really good and does lots of damage, but once that circle closes in, she's kind of screwed. Ziggs is going in C tier with the rest of the mages. Zillion's with the rest of the mages. Zoe with the rest of the mages. And this one, Zyra, I think was her name, is going up here in the A tier. Really good, does good damage, kind of like Morgana Lux, has her CC and all that. So just have a wonderful day, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. This is the overall view, and I hope that you enjoyed this tier list. Thanks for watching.